Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Heart-Based Business Show. I am your host, Dr. Charlene Reeves, and today I have an interesting conversation to share with you about the power of not being normal. If I was standing on a stage right now, I would ask everybody in the audience to raise their hand and tell me who is normal, because I don't know who normal is. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. What is normal and what the heck is the new normal as well? See you in just a minute. And welcome back. And so, yes, we're going to talk about not being normal today. And I'm going to give you some thoughts about this. And I also have a client that I was working with, and I'm going to share her story with you as well, because I think this thing about supposedly being normal is a joke. Because when you follow your guidance, which I do, that's how I ended up here in Baja. I followed my spiritual guidance. And guess what? It's been the best place to be throughout all of this nightmare that we've experiencing, because I get to walk up and down the beach all the time. And that's a pretty awesome thing. Plus, it's a vortex, a very positive vortex here with great energy. So I did end up in the right place. And I'm so glad I listened to my guidance, because I dance to the beat of a different drummer, and many of you do. And the way you dance may not be how your family wants you to dance. They may think you're not a good person, or you might be considered to be selfish or unkind. And like me, you might even be an outsider because you choose to be on your own path, doing what makes you happy. And that's what you're here on earth for, is to learn and grow and enjoy the experience. You're meant to be happy here, but we get our thinking minds all mixed into it, and then we're unhappy. We don't always look at life in the way of being happy, which is pretty sad. And particularly now, so many of my clients are upset and they're having difficult experiences because they've been inside for so long with the kids or with a boyfriend that they don't want to be with anymore, and they don't know where else to go. It's kind of a critical path right now for a lot of people. So okay, so you might be called an outcast, but who cares? An outcast is a good thing to be. That's what I decided, because I've been an outcast my whole life. And I'm grateful that I've had the freedoms in life that helped me grow. And if I'd followed the family rules, I wouldn't be who I am today. I would still be introverted. I'd still be afraid to stand on a stage. There's so many things and so many places I wouldn't have traveled or experienced. And I got to tell you, I've loved being an outcast. And an outcast is considered to be not normal. I have a client whose dad once said to him, "You've changed and I don't know who you are. Why can't you be normal?" My question to you is, what is normal? And who are they to question you? Have you ever wondered about that? Why are they the ones who get to decide who you are, what you should do, and how you should do it? I can't figure that out. And I think that we should give our kids as much freedom as we possibly can so that they can become who they are. Otherwise, you will suppress them, you'll hold them back, they won't be able to flourish and grow the way they were intended to. And who cares if you changed and somebody doesn't know who you are anymore? Does it matter? Let them get to know you again. And I ask you again, what is normal and who gets to decide? What makes them the normal person that they can decide whether you're normal or not? And even today, they talk about the new normal, but who knows what that is? And who gets to decide what the new normal is? It sounds like there's a lot of people taking over our old normal and converting it to new. The reality is, no two people think alike. Would you agree? It's just not possible. You know, everybody takes in information in a different way. They won't even parrot it back to you in the same way that you heard it, because everybody hears things differently. That's why they might get mad at you because they think you said something, but the reality is that you just said what you thought. All you did was express yourself. And in my world, that's okay. Whether you're mad or you're not mad or whatever it is, based on what somebody said, that's your problem. That's not the problem of the person that said it. They have every right to express themselves, although that seems to be questionable lately. But they do. They have every right to express themselves. They have every right to offer opinions and tell you what they think. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not, because it's not about you. And this is what I want you to understand. We're all here on earth at this time for a very good reason. And from a metaphysical perspective, which is a big part of my background, those who are here decided to experience this great awakening that is happening on earth right now. Now, they talk about the energy feeling heavy. And yes, it does feel very, very heavy. A lot of people say to me, I don't even want to work. I don't feel like doing anything. I just want to sit at home and do nothing. Well, that's because right now we're going through uncertain times, and uncertain times are always difficult to deal with. Whether you're normal or you're not, it really doesn't matter. And each person is going to experience these times in any way that they wish. And the best thing that you can do is just accept them for who they are. Come from your heart and love them for who they are. Let them be who they are. Don't try to mold them into somebody that you want them to be. Can you imagine, and I've said this on other shows, how would it be if people walked around on earth, everybody thought the same way, acted the same way, behaved the same way? Boring, right? We'd get so bored with that, it would drive us nuts. It would me anyway, because there'd be no other stimulation, no other thought process that could make you think differently about what it is that you're thinking. So I want to go back to this normal thing. So who is normal and who are they to judge? Have you ever wondered that? You know, my favorite grandmother, oh my God, I loved her so much. She was my maternal grandmother, and we were like this. We were such buds. And she used to say to me, they say, in response to whatever I was saying, they say, and then she'd go on and parrot whatever they said. And as I got older, I think I was in my late 20s, I said to her, who are these people that you say they say? Who are you talking about? And I had to laugh, because in those days she was reading the Ladies' Home Journal and Red Book and I don't know what else, but those were the theys. Now the theys are on social media, or maybe on YouTube, or they're in the news, whatever they say. And do they predict the new normal? I don't think so, because they leave a lot out. So think about when somebody says you're not normal, think about who they are and whether they're normal or not. Don't tell people they aren't normal unless you're sure you are normal and you have permission to judge them. Does that make sense? There is no normal. Who do you know that is normal? I don't know one person. I think about, let's just talk about something out there in the universe, okay? We'll talk about the astronauts. Do you think that the astronauts' families think they're normal? No, they probably think they're crazy because they spend endless hours floating around out in space. And before that, they spend even longer hours preparing to go out in space, doing the weightless thing and whatever else they need to know to run that capsule that they fly around, right? The spaceship. And on top of that, those who judge an astronaut, they have their own fears that they might never return, or that they'll get stuck out there, or they'll die out there. And do you think their families might ask, why can't you be normal and stay here on Earth like the rest of us? You're supposed to be here on Earth. You're not supposed to be flying around out in the universe. Well, how many times have you been told that you weren't supposed to be doing something? And it might have been something you knew was perfectly right for you. And then you decide to do it and you become an outcast because suddenly they don't know you anymore. Well, here's another thing. They'll also tell you you're selfish and you're unkind. And that's probably what they've told astronauts, because if they die, it affects the whole family, does it not? Absolutely. So who cares what others think is normal? Now, I have a little story that was written to me not too long ago. It's an email they wrote. It's a client who wanted to work with me. And she wanted to tell me this story about what had happened to her. And she was a very highly regarded businesswoman and living in Northern California. And her grandchildren are in Southern California. So she got this brilliant idea that she would move to Southern California to be closer to her grandchildren because she wanted to spend time with them. She wanted to spend the holidays with them. She wanted to go to Disneyland with them and do the fun things that a grandparent would do with her grandchildren. So she said, I thought it would be a good idea to move closer so that we could spend time together. Over a period of 2 years, I evaluated the behavior of the family, watching as they left town, weekends and holidays, leaving her behind. She even made an effort to ask if she could go along and was told, no, there's not enough room for you. So holiday after holiday, weekend after weekend, she was left behind. But she was always invited to birthday parties so she could bring a gift. That was very important. She also observed her son thriving in business, flying all over the world to party with his friends, calling it work. And this allowed him to run away from the pressures of the family so he could have his old 20-year-old lifestyle. Now, during the 2 years of aloneness, she became an award-winning author, and she decided, well, I've given it 2 years. I'm not going to stay here any longer. I need to go where people care about me, where I have time with people I care about. And she was extremely lonely. And she realized that her reasoning of being closer to the family was what she wanted. It wasn't really what anybody else in the family wanted. They didn't really care. So she announced her intention to move because she wanted to be with her friends. And her son reacted in anger. And he said, quote, "What's wrong with you? Why can't you be a normal grandmother? You are so selfish," end quote. She let him vent, saying nothing other than, "I'm sorry you feel that way." And she attempted to explain that she had been there for 2 years alone and was feeling very lonely because all she did was work. That was it. And she did networking, which was really good, but she didn't have any time with her family. And it was very, very rare. So she decided to make a big move and she pursued what she wanted in life. And her son decided to ignore her as a result of that. And I think they're still not in a good way. And she still made frequent trips to visit her grandchildren when they were home and attended birthday parties as usual. The point I'm trying to make is you tell me she was told that she is not normal, that she was selfish, that she was unkind because she chose to move. But the person that judged her so was also not normal, flying around playing with his friends when he's in his 40s. Ridiculous. But that's what he wanted to do. He lived the life and is living the life he wants to live. And she decided that she wants to live the life she wants to live. And the reason she contacted me was because she was dealing with guilt and shame and wondering why she wasn't normal. Have you ever wondered why you aren't normal? Well, let's hope you're not normal. Because if you tell me you're normal, I'm going to say to you, what is that? What the heck is normal? And those of you who are watching, put a comment in there. You tell me what's normal. I would love to share that with the audience because I have no concept of it. I've never known what was normal. I've always danced to the beat of my own drummer personally and been very happy that I did it. But I've made a lot of people unhappy as a result of it. But what can I do? That is their thought. Just like this person that wrote in, what could she do? What he thought wasn't her problem. It was his problem. He needs to do something to get himself fixed so he can let other people be who they want to be. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. It's so important that you allow others to be who they want to be. And no, they're never going to think like you. They're never going to act like you. They're never going to take the same risks you might take. They're not going to live the same life that you're going to live. And you can't condemn them for the life they do want to live. Everybody is who they are. And they came here on earth to grow their soul and become an individual that supports and cares about others. But they can do it in their own way. And let me tell you, I never coach anybody unless they come and ask me for help. And this poor woman really needed some help. She was feeling such shame for her decision, but her loneliness outweighed the shame, thanks goodness. And that's why she was able to make the move in peace. And that's what you want to do. Don't be normal. You'll be sorry if you'll be normal because it will hold you back and you won't be able to be the person that you really are. You'll have to live by somebody else's standards and what they think is normal. And if somebody says that to you, ask them, what is that anyway? Well, that's the way our family believes. It's our religion. It's our politics. It's our whatever. You know, you're expected to believe like everybody else. But that can't happen because no two people think alike. No two people act alike, and no two people will even hear this message that I'm giving to you right now. You know, I think where that really came into culmination with me was when I talked to my brother and I said, oh, this is what I thought happened in our childhood. And he went, what? that's not what happened at all. This is what happened. And I said, well, I never thought about that. That never even occurred to me. And he said, well, that's the way I experienced it. And I didn't experience it that way. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. In all of your relationships, doesn't matter what you say to people, they won't hear it the way you said it, because they are threading it through years and years of history, experience, and things that other people have told them. And I got to be honest with you, when it really boils down to the reality of things, we don't really know anything other than what people tell us. We don't even know that this is called a video other than that people told us that this is a video. We don't know that this is really a jacket. Just somebody told me that this is a jacket. And so I say it's a jacket. Or whatever it is that's going on around you, think deeply on it and decide, am I hearing this the way it's really being said? Or am I filtering it through rose-colored glasses based on what I think I'm hearing? This has to do with relationships also. Sometimes relationships aren't good because somebody's saying, I've told you over and over again, I need this, I want that, if you don't do this, I'm not going to be here anymore. But this person that you're talking to never heard what you said. They're thinking, what am I going to say next? Or how am I feeling about this? Why is that person being so mean? What am I supposed to do now? Am I supposed to react or not react? Or how am I supposed to act? And this person's saying, I've told you this over and over and over again, and you're just not hearing. Well, that's true. They're not hearing. They're not hearing because they're distracted. Maybe they're watching TV. They're not hearing because they're filtering everything that's gone on in their past. They're not hearing because somebody told them something entirely different about the same situation, and they've already made a judgment and they don't want to change it. All these things affect what's normal. So my message to you today is, don't ever tell somebody they're not normal unless you think you are. And good luck with that, because there's really there's an identification in the dictionary, but who do you know that's normal? I don't know anybody that's normal. So how can you judge? How can anybody judge? So just think with your heart and love others. And if you choose to do something that goes against the norms of your family or friends, go for it. And if somebody asks you why you can't be normal, look behind their words and ask yourself, what's normal about this person that they have the right to judge what I choose to do? And then let it go. Who wants to be normal anyway? Talk about boring, 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 boring. And I'll tell you, I don't think there's any normal grandmothers around anymore. What I thought was a normal grandmother was someone that moves close to the family, that spends time with them on holidays and weekends. And I was totally wrong. That's not a normal grandmother at all. So I guess don't look at me, because I'll own it. I'm not normal. I don't want to be normal. And I've never been happier in my life. Thanks for being with me today. And please don't forget to subscribe and like my channel. It helps me grow. I so appreciate it. And I love, love, love that you're here with me. And I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody, and stay safe.